Did you notice that I said no right to comment? That is such a wrong statement. Sometimes we end up articulating something and meaning something else. It can improve just out of sheer practice. The more I keep talking to you, the more mindful I will be of how I ended up expressing something contrary to what it was supposed to be, just because of the wrong choice of words. So, no right to comment. It's like saying, well, people do not have the right to mock, loathe, shout, criticize. Of course, people have the right to do that. Always. They 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 should feel free to do that to anybody of any views. If something needs to be corrected, then it's our own immaturity, because for a mature mind, any such criticisms or bouts of anger of others upon us will not entangle us. We will still be in our rhythm. So if something needs to be corrected, then it's us. People should be given total freedom to say whatever they like about one's body or choices or philosophies or ideas or ideologies, and people can be as harsh as they want. The most humble among you would agree that there's so much we end up learning from such churn, right? If the churn that we face in life ends up being intense, and if we can still stay true to our original rhythm, that churn ends up improving us. So the context in which I'm reminding you, I said no right to comment, was on suggesting to women and to men to be free with the choice of their choice of clothes, the exposure of their bodies, the expression of their personality through the use of whatever it is they have at their disposal, so long as it suits their sense of aesthetics. What is wrong in that? So I ended up saying, and people have no right to comment on those choices. मेरा भाव अभी भी वही है, पर मैं कह ये रहा हूँ कि बिल्कुल राइट कमेंट करने का राइट तो सबके पास है, वो जो बोलना चाहे कह सकते हैं. जिसको जिस चीज़ में अपना रिदम महसूस हो रहा है, उस तरह से उस चीज़ को एक्सप्रेस करे, और बाकी जिनको वो कटाक्ष या वो शब्द अच्छे नहीं लग रहे हैं, वो अपने आप को, उन लोगों, बहुत बड़ी दुनिया है, 700 करोड़ लोगों की दुनिया है, वो कुछ और लोगों से अपना संपर्क बनाएं या संबंध रखें. पर मैं आपको कह देता हूँ, ये जो विपरीत विचारधारा है या जो भी दुनिया में विपरीत है, इसका बहुत महत्व है हमारे ग्रोथ में. और सारी दिक्कतें आपके मन में, इम्बैलेंसेस, एंजाइटी, देखिए अगर आप ये सब महसूस करते हैं तो कहीं कुछ ना कुछ तो आप गलत जा रहे हैं. कष्ट सबके जीवन में है, और हमारा नज़रिया क्या है उस कष्ट को, जैसे ही हमारे नज़रिए में ये बात स्थापित हो जाती है सफाई से कि विपरीत बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है. There is no meaning, there's no taste without the opposite. Imagine a world of only chocolates. So once you understand that about life, you know that there will be these ups and downs, love and anger. And they all give taste to the other, their opposite. So welcome criticism. Let people this is perhaps especially for women, that please don't bother about comments of others on the choice of your clothing, especially in a close-minded society like India. While India has watched plenty of cricket and watched, people sitting so freely every time the matches used were in places like South Africa or Europe, they were so free with their choice of clothing. Yet we don't learn. So then what do? We just let the dogs bark. There is definitely something wrong, in spite of having said many times that there are greater mortals and there are lesser mortals. Not everyone in their ability to impact humanity is equal. From that context, of course, not everyone is equal. So there are, in my view, those who impact humanity towards greater harmony are greater mortals, and the rest are lesser mortals. They're both mortals, however. Well, I'm waiting to be surprised by the works of Google along with Ray Kurzweil towards immortality. And there are many more, Peter Thiel, so many more. But anyway, for now, we stick to mortality for ease of this discussion. So the lesser mortals are not dogs that are barking, clearly. For a greater human being who really understands that the consciousness is that which engulfs us. That which engulfs us is where the emotions are felt. Really just look into your mind, feel something. How far do you think your mind is when you get into the realm? You recognize there's some underlying infinite layer of stillness upon which all experiences are by virtue of some movement, some waves. Waves as thoughts, waves as objects. They're all objects, anyway. So, so then you notice that if that is how we are, upon which we are having that conscious experience, the thing that renders that emotional aspects of our life, the emotional rhythm we have through the day, how easy it is, how free it is. How knowing it is of various emotions and what goes by in moments of the occurrence of you know emotions that move us. When you recognize all that is happening on an upon an underlying layer called consciousness, which is that which engulfs your atoms, your smallest particles, that which engulfs. So wherever there is movement, everything that engulfs that particle moving has impressions of that movement. So when you recognize you are pointed there, you are experiencing the impressions of the particles you have identified and composed your ego with or identity with. And then you are able to really find God even in a dog. In fact, to say that the dog is in God, just like we are, is more appropriate. And God, what is God? The most fluid, non-intrusive layer of sorts, which is constantly by its own desire to have cosmic waves and movements, is only looking to establish a harmony. Just a musical rhythm is going on all around you, and waves are coming and getting entangled from here and there. The more you are pointed at these waves, the more clutter you will have in your mind. So there's an opportunity for every being to graduate into finding themselves seated on upon that underlying layer. Once we reach and imbibe these things within our being, that's why it takes a lot of it takes age to have wisdom. It's very rare to have wisdom at early ages, like in teens, 20s, 30s. We often associate wisdom with you know gray-haired men and women. There must be a reason. If you picture wisdom, timeless wisdom, you're associated with people who are mid-aged at least. So that time is for practicing, for really the practice of being in the realm of God, with God, as they say, the believers, that this is what it means to be in that realm of godliness. Then what are we saying? Dogs barking. Of course, there's a root cause which has nothing to do with them, but everything to do with society, that they have become so. They are not to be blamed individually. Maybe as a society, fair enough, yet not dogs barking. And even if I'm saying there is an impression of dog's experience upon the same underlying layer of ether all the way to non-matter, responsible for experience of life. If the impressions of the experience of life of the dog on that underlying layer, ethereal layer, is that of entanglement and this harmony, the same kind of waves will go in the environment and also move or get entangled with your waves. And when you recognize this, then you understand that Hindu saying, कण कण में परमात्मा है. एक्चुअली सारे कण परमात्मा में है. तो इसका अर्थ यह है कि हर कण के चलन, लहर, तरंगे, जो समझ कहना है कह लीजिए, उसका जो इम्प्रेशन असर पड़ रहा है उस पे जो है कॉन्शियसनेस, जिस पे आपके पास मूव करने का फ्रीडम है, आप उस कॉन्शियसनेस के एक्सपीरियंस को एकाग्र करके किसी बहुत ही संकट से भरी सोच में डुबा के भी अनुभव कर सकते हैं. पर आपको अपना ध्यान उस एंटेंगलमेंट में फंसे रह के बिताना पड़ रहा है अपने दिन भर की जीवन में. सोते वक्त भी आपके दिमाग में वही चल रहा है. या फिर आप अपने उस ध्यान को मूव करके वो एंटेंगलमेंट जिस अंडरलाइंग लेयर के ऊपर है, जिसके ऊपर उसके बिल्कुल एज इट इज़ इम्प्रेशंस पड़ रहे हैं, पर आप लेयर पे सीटेड, आपका ध्यान उस वास्ट लेयर पे आ गया है. अब बस इम्प्रेशंस चल रहे हैं, तरंगे चल रही हैं. अगर आप जीवन को उस तरह से जीते हैं तो आपको फिर समझ में आता है कि एक पत्थर वो भी engulfed है with that underlying layer. तो धीमे धीमे वाणी अपने आप शुद्ध होने लगती है. क्योंकि भाव ये है, इस बात की समझ है कि आदर तो कुत्तों का भी होना चाहिए, लेकिन वो जो कंडीशनिंग है, भाषा रूपी कंडीशनिंग, उसकी वजह से कुछ चलता रहेगा. अच्छा है इस चर्चा को हम और रंगों में ले जा पाए. टॉपिक एक्चुअली कुछ और था और हम यहाँ तक भी पहुँच गए क्योंकि मैंने आई थिंक अपने फ्लो के एक सर्टेन लेवल ऑफ उत्तेजना की वजह से कुछ ऐसा कहा फॉर dogs who, I mean, I love them. I love animals and I'd like to, even in my choice of words, have utter respect for animals. Anyway.